Hello, everyone. My name's Ailis. I run Sonic Mania and Knuckles. Knuckles being, the best Sonic character, obviously. And I believe we have a donation incentive met. Is that right?
We do.
So we're going to go for and Knuckles mode, which is an extra mode unlocked if you complete the game, which lets you have two Knuckles, because what's better than one echidna? It's two echidnas.
We got Knuckles
so
and
one thing to say
and
before this run starts is that it can be quite unforgiving in certain places. So I've just got a backup save here that I might have to load because there's a couple of places I could soft lock a little bit. We're going to try not to. But yeah, other than that, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So, also, quickly, just to mention the category, it's good ending, but that's technically any percent. Good ending involves getting all the emeralds, and I'm going to try and explain very quickly at the start of the run why we go for the emeralds over leaving them and why that's considered any percent. But I'm ready to get started.
Yeah, count us down.
Are we good to go?
Give us just 1 second. We seem to have lost the video feed.
Oh, let's try and work out why that's happening. Okay, we're back. We're back, it looks like.
All right, yes, we are back. So go ahead and count us down.
Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So, right at the start of this run, there's so much I want to be able to talk about. But what I'm actually going to have to talk about is coming up in the very first special stage, which is just up ahead. And that's side-strafing. So the reason why it's faster to get the emeralds in this game is because you can do this, which is essentially when jumping and holding sideways in the air, you can go incredibly fast, and there's the first emerald. So this is why it's much faster to get the emeralds in this game, because by getting all 7 emeralds, I can turn into Super Knuckles, which is going to let me go a lot faster and enable certain tricks. So coming up is some really tight movement. There's this very tight cycle you can get at the end of it, but the main issue with that is you have to move incredibly precisely through here, and if you mess it up, it just wastes time. So I won't be going for it in this run. I'll be taking a safer route up to Emerald 2. So the cycle will just run straight on there. Instead, we're going up here and onto this platform, straight across to Emerald 2. So this, like I said, this is a very fast-paced run at the start. There's a lot I want to explain, but I kind of want to get through the start of Green Hill 1 to start with.
Yeah, so...
Also, I'm not getting any commentary at the moment.
Guys.
If Ria's there.
I'm here. I don't know if she can hear me, though.
We're getting that fixed so that you can hear her.
Okay, thank you. Sorry if I've been talking over you, Ria, but I cannot hear you at the moment.
All right.
So yeah, some of the emeralds in particular are very finicky to try and get quickly. I've actually altered. I say I've altered it. It's kind of like a common marathon safe strat to alter the route slightly for Knuckles so that you can go into a couple of extra rings if need be.
Can you
Hello?
hear Ria?
Hello.
Hello, Ria. How's it going?
All right. How are you?
Cool. I'm good, yeah, and I just got Emerald 3, which is great because that's one of my least favorites. So,
You know, I'm. You know, it's been 3 emeralds down, and we have yet to identify the flying object.
yes, yeah, it's gonna say UFO every time.
Yep.
Knuckles apparently doesn't think to check what the UFO could be, so it's gonna be unidentified for the whole run.
So.
And boss 1, here we go. This boss is kind of an example of Knuckles' reduced jump height, and I've messed that up, but that's fine. Knuckles' reduced jump height because other characters do this boss completely differently. I don't know if it was mentioned at all in the classic trilogy run, but essentially Knuckles jumps lower than the other characters, and it was kind of like a legacy thing that they brought back in this game, because in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, they would use his jump height and Sonic's inability to break through walls to keep them on separate paths. So they kind of kept it in this game, which is going to make this run very RNG dependent in certain sections, which I'm not looking forward to, but we'll try our best.
However, I should also point out that there are some ways where you're going to be able to take advantage of not the greatest level positioning in order to take advantage of Mania's slight changes from the original trilogy, and therefore be able to get on to what's supposed to be Sonic's path, even though you're being Knuckles and Knuckles.
Yeah, so there's one section in particular where I think they thought, oh, this is clever. We're going to make it like the old games. And there's Emerald 4, by the way. We're going to make this like the old games and make it so that, they have to stay on different paths. And Knuckles just doesn't care, it turns out.
Yeah,
Don't know how... Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, it turns out that with some very precise movement and spin dashing that she's going to be able to get onto Sonic's path, even though you're not supposed to be able to, as like they were like, hey, look, we totally think that this is going to work out, that we've put up enough walls and we've made this wall unclimbable, so yeah, you can no way to
Hey, I got that jump. Sorry, that's quite a tricky jump. But yeah, it's going to be like a section, especially in Lava Roof 2. It's quite clear. So this is where the route diverges. So this bit might be a bit shaky because I'm not used to... Okay, never mind. We're on this route now. Forget the backups. We're just going for it.
All right, we are in chemical plants, so yep, we got some awesome chemical.
It is very good music. Remember when I said we had marathon backups? I lied. I've just kind of muscle memory my way into the normal path, but that's fine.
All
I
right,
just have to get them all first try now. It's fine.
already up to UFO number 5.
Yep, that wasn't as fast as that one can be, but it's still pretty fast, Yeah, so we get all of them within the first 3 levels of the game.
Because Super Knuckles I don't believe gets any jump height extra as Super, but does move faster. In fact, moves faster as Super than as Running Shoes Knuckles. So amusingly enough, there's going to be places where she's going to want to deliberately avoid getting the Running Shoes because it will actually slow Knuckles down compared with Super Knuckles. And
Yeah,
Super and
absolutely.
Knuckles.
So, oops, wrong place to jump there. That's fine. Super and Knuckles. Okay, let's not fall down there. This section always messes me up because I'm not very good at loop jumps, which is another bit of tech in this game. Essentially, if you jump while you're on a loop, it can give you a lot of momentum downwards, which then translates into sort of sideways movement when you go off of the ramps. You can get the same speed off of downward slopes as well. Also, purposeful damage boosting on this boss. Oh, and Knuckles just got an even quicker kill, so that's great. Thank you, Knuckles, for helping. And we're hitting this sign. That's not great. There's quite a lot to talk about in this game, and I'm going to try my best to commentate while I was playing, but it's quite tricky.
So I believe that in Chemical Plant 2, you've got a skip where if you do it correctly, and Knuckles can save you over a full minute over regular, just normal Knuckles.
Yes, so when we get to Poyo skip, you're going to see maybe some Knuckles tech. First, that clip is really tricky, so I'm glad I got that. That's an example of super glide clipping, which is one of the main ways that Knuckles can get into the ceiling, which is in Echidna's natural habitat, as it turns out.
As her Discord status is putting Echidnas into the ceiling, or I might have paraphrased that slightly.
No, you actually got it absolutely perfect. Okay, this section's not going too great, but it's fine.
Can I get in a quick donation?
Absolutely.
$15 from Nin that says, "Hey, Ailis, good luck cramming that Echidna into the ceiling."
Well, I've just messed up cramming the Echidna into the ceiling, so we are going to be doing Poyo, unfortunately. When I was doing the second clip there, I managed to catch the enemy, which I needed to do a super glide off of to go into the corner. So that's unfortunate. That was one I really wanted to show off, but there's going to be plenty more where that came from, honestly. This game is broken. Also, shout-outs to Nin, who's a buddy from uni. Great to see you and hear you donating. Thank you very much. Oh, so Knuckles is just going to chill in the back here. This is Mean Bean Machine, which I'm not very good at because usually I skip this. So hopefully I don't die. But we're going to basically try and set up for a stack of these little Poyo blocks to try and defeat the boss in one shot. It's kind of like when you're playing Poyo and you get lines and you send junk to the enemy. I'm basically doing that, but in a Sonic game. Don't ask me why.
No one quite knows the reason. We're just gonna.
But this will be good if I get a blue, actually. If I get a blue block now, I'm actually pretty okay.
Yeah, especially if you can get a blue-purple.
Oh no, RNG, please. RNG, please. I can't put green down there. I can put that down there. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
And
And
that's going to trigger that, and the boss is going to be dead. So getting a good Poyo is actually slightly faster than getting Poyo skip without Knuckles, but Knuckles saves a so much time in that skip that
Yeah,
it's
there's-
insane.
If she does the skip without and Knuckles, then there's a minute and 7 seconds where Knuckles is just flying and wrapping around the screen, and then you just kind of eventually and Knuckles will pop up on the other side of the screen. But with and Knuckles, there's a little thing that you can do where and Knuckles can hit the switch for us and save us all that glide time. So now we've made it to World 3, Studiopolis, or as I semi-affectionately refer to it as Stupidopolis. And I think...
You've just seen why.
There
This
you
level
go.
hates me. So there's a lot of bumpers and horrible things in there. That section feels so good to do well, but, you know, this kind of just happens sometimes. It's fine, it's a marathon. I'm trying my best here. Okay, Emerald 6 is like the worst emerald, so I need to concentrate for a second. Hey, there we go. Right, so that one has no like real consistent setup that the other ones do. So you kind of have to wing it a little bit. So now all I need to do is get Emerald 7 and I'm going to have Super Knuckles, which is going to be a huge relief.
So here's a
'cause
question. If
that's what I
you
want to do well.
fail a bonus stage and you get the next big ring for a bonus stage, is that going to repeat the 6th stage or repeat the one you failed, or does it go on to like the next one in sequence?
So it's actually going to repeat the one that you failed last, which means it's actually very bad for like muscle memory to fail an emerald, because it's going to lead to me like I've done it in practice where I failed an emerald, gone to a backup, and then assumed I was on the next one along, and then my movement's been all messed up. So I'm very glad that this is going well so far. So this boss is total RNG, by the way. Basically, Heavy Gunner in the background there is going to be shooting missiles at us, and the missiles like color determines whether I can hit the missile back at them or not. The order that they come in is just random. The optimal like order is the first or second missile in the first section, and then the first missile for the rest of them. So unfortunately, average RNG here rather than good. The reason why you want to hit them as early as possible is because the stage can only transition to different sections at certain times, which are called transition points. So I've just hit one now, and I'm going on to the next bit. What I will try and do to hit the transition points effectively is once I've hit the missile, I will fall right the way back to the left of the screen, and then I'll start running forwards. And then that's to try and hit the transition point as quickly as possible after having like activated it essentially.
Yeah, so you want to go all the way to the right to hit the blue missile as soon as possible, and then she's going to move back to the left a little bit, and then hopefully get the screen to move to the next phase as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's literally the only time save you can get on this boss, which is annoying because, like I said, RNG plagues this run. It's the one downside of Knuckles. But the upside is that there's some very awesome skips, I promise. I'm not just going to miss all of them, hopefully.
But I think that we got slightly above our average RNG. We got like second, first.
Yeah, so getting first on any of the later ones is nice, and getting second on the first one is just good as well. So that was like half good RNG.
Yeah, so slightly above average.
So this stage is going to hopefully get Super Knuckles. I mean, it should do, because it's where my other backup is. If I don't have Super Knuckles by the end of this stage, I am going to go to my backup save, just because it's going to take a lot of effort to get Super Knuckles after this point. Come on. There we go. So the ring is just up ahead, and hopefully it's also going to help us with a skip that I might get. It's one of the trickier ones. It's not one I'm like counting on getting. But yeah, this emerald is also very scary sometimes, because there's all these holes on the ground that you can go into, and if you fall off the side, you've just lost the stage. So that was a very good Emerald 7, actually, by my standards at least. Some people just fly through that, and it's terrifying.
I was
honestly.
definitely kind of on edge right there, and
Yes,
Knuckles
okay,
got all Chaos Emeralds.
Now it can be Super Knuckles.
Knuckles
and
can
look,
now be Super Knuckles. Woo!
and look exactly the same as he does now, which is a bit anticlimactic, but unfortunately, and Knuckles can't go Super Knuckles, but
Darn.
he does still keep up somehow, so shoutouts to Knuckles. He's clearly more powerful than regular Knuckles ever was. So this is where Knuckles can screw it up, because I need to do a super... Oh no, he did! Nice, okay. Knuckles just broke the skip. Thank you for your donation money. I'm not sure where I am now. I think I need to just go back in this hole. Usually what I try and do is get a very specific super glide off of there, and try and climb up into the wall. I'll try it like once without Knuckles. Okay, no, that's never going to happen. So we're just going to go super here and carry on as normal. Normally, I'd try and do a clip into the ceiling up there, but Knuckles has apparently completely trolled me. It can happen. He was also trolling me in the first boss, but we didn't get a chance to mention it, because he can also hit the boss and cause the boss to go invincible, causing all sorts of problems. Right.
So since I don't think it came up in the first couple of the first few Sonic games, at least not that I saw, should probably mention what Super Form does. It makes it so that a hurt box is always active with Knuckles, and your hitbox is reduced to 0 with the exception of the post-game good ending final super boss that we'll get to, well, at the end.
Okay, so this boss is total RNG, by the way. Another thing, since we're on the topic of super forms, I need to go over here and hit him. So another thing on the topic of super forms is that other characters get increased jump height, and Knuckles doesn't, which means Super Knuckles can't hit this boss without getting good RNG like this. So it's quite awkward. Okay, and I missed the jump as well. Normally you can get on top with the wind cycle and kill the boss all in one go, but I had a very awkward angle there, and I still killed him, so it's fine.
We still had pretty good RNG. We got sun and then 2 winds in a row, so we didn't get any rain, which is just like, well, Ailis is gonna have to twiddle her thumbs for a little bit because there's nothing we can do to hit when it's in rain.
Yeah, it's an incredibly slow cycle, and you can just watch. You can't do anything to speed it up or anything. So Flying Battery, as intended, sadly not in this game, but it's going to be our first Sonic and Knuckles level. That's the other thing with this game, is that there's only 4 original stages. The rest of them are all from older games, which has some really cool mechanics in, actually. This is a very cycle-based level. I'm going to be going for a cycle later on to go through a section efficiently. It's a very scary section if you don't, because you don't quite know where the cycles are, so hopefully I'll have nice movement, but I've not doing a great job to start with.
So one thing to point out is that Knuckles has the ability to glide. I think we're aware of that. But in this game, at least, I'm not sure if that's the case in all of the Sonic games, Knuckles' glide builds up speed, and it doesn't seem to have a cap on the speed, so we're going to be able to take advantage of that fact to do a couple of skips. I'm not sure if it's in Flying Battery 1 or 2 where we do the skip.
It's in 2, yeah.
Do a boss skip.
Hey, we got the cycle. That's I love doing that. That's just so cool. Going straight through there, and come on, Knuckles. There's another cycle here, but I think I've missed a good one at this point, but it's fine, so we just have to sit and wait for these missiles. This is the only point in the game where Mighty is faster than any of the other characters, by the way. Shoutouts to Mighty. He is unfortunately the most vanilla character, because all of his tricks are impossible and no one's ever got them in a run, so it's just kind of stage movement. Okay, this boss is like a kind of hurt box interaction. So I'm going to hover over the boss and then let go at the right moment to jump on top. And Knuckles made that slightly harder because the enemy normally flies up towards me and it kind of affects how I jump, but it went and flew down to Knuckles, so he nearly slowed me down again, but not quite. The reason why that works is because if you're gliding off the top of the stage, it doesn't move you horizontally when you're off stage. So I was actually hovering in place above the boss, in a specific point, and then I could just let go when the boss got there.
Another couple things that we can point out. I'll just point out a couple things about Super Mode. You have to have 50 rings in order to activate Super Mode, and when you have Super Mode enabled, you lose 1 ring per second. Also, a thing to point out is that once she has obtained Super Mode by getting all 7 Chaos Emeralds, she can touch the big ring to gain 50 rings, which will give her exactly what she needs in order to get into Super Mode. So a lot of the rest of the run is going to be go to find the big ring and then just become super and go on. But there are going to be some stages where she's going to have to sit around and go a little bit, because you'll have to make use of the super transition as a way to perform a skip. There are going to be some places where taking advantage of the super animation to do that skip is going to be important.
Yeah, and some of those ones are that. I think it's Hydro 1 is the first one, and it looks really cool, and it's not too hard to pull off, so I'm really looking forward to showing that one off. So this is a skip. Basically what Ria was just saying about the glide building speed means I can just push through this wind barrier. below me is a kill plane, but as soon as I get to about here, I'm past it, and I'm in the loop back area, sort of like... Basically, the boss of this stage usually goes like upwards eternally. And then when you kill the boss, you end up in this position, which is below the stage. It's stored below the stage. So I've kind of just cheated my way into the cutscene area and then ended up at the capsule. This is Press Garden. It has an awesome soundtrack, but sadly we won't hear it because I'm going to get super really quickly. Very tight jump here that I can get.
Would you say that it is
And I didn't get it.
really quickly?
Really quickly. Really quickly. And I'm... So there's a cycle in this level that we're never going to see now, but it's okay. More Press Garden. It's a beautiful stage. Honestly, it looks gorgeous. Press Garden 2 looks even better, but I hate that stage, and I'll explain why soon. But
Is that the ice stage?
it is the ice stage, yes.
Ice
Okay, that
physics.
was not.
It's right up there with sewer levels in terms of levels that people hate, but developers keep putting them in for whatever reason.
Yes. Oh, and I missed the platform. Please don't go away. There we go. Yeah, so Press Garden 2, favorite stage aesthetically for me. But it is my least favorite stage, like, to run, because it's just got this one section that if you mess it up, you have to kind of reset the stage, or it's super slow, and it's not very nice. The rest of this stage, though, is just going to be, like, largely platforming. There's going to be, like, a tiny, like, super clip that you'll see. But other than that, we can probably do some donations for a minute.
Sure thing. We have $25 from Flying Fox that says, Knuckles, woo!
Hey, thank you, Flying Fox. Awesome run you had earlier. Really enjoyed watching it.
Indeed.
And don't forget and Knuckles, because
And Knuckles.
Knuckles and
This
Knuckles.
isn't just a single Knuckles job. Knuckles and Knuckles are together taking down
It's
Robotnik.
Knuckles and Knuckles. The second one's name is and Knuckles, so it's Knuckles and Knuckles.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
Okay, so just a quick shout out in the chat to Argic. Everybody get ready to wave to the boss. There we go. Hope you're waving. Argic always does that every time I watch one of his runs, so definitely worth mentioning. We're going to do a little trick here. Sorry, I would do more donations, but there's actually a trick I completely forgot to mention. So Knuckles can maintain control during the cutscene between this level. Usually it will just make Knuckles like run over to the right, but kind of really slowly. But what I can do is maintain control by gliding. And then as soon as I land, I can charge a spin dash, and then spin dash into the cutscene, and it just makes it go faster. So I've actually gotten into Press Garden 2 like much quicker than I'm supposed to do. So Press Garden 2 is just going to be more platforming again, so you can do some more donations.
Well, while Liz goes to see if there's any more donations, we should point out that there are some ice blocks in this level, and it takes 5 hits to bust out of those. And this is also the first level where it's really going to be important to point out that, as I mentioned earlier, Knuckles' Super Knuckles speed is faster than running shoe speed, so if she does get the running shoes, it will cost her
okay,
some time.
taking the back up. That's the section I was talking about. At least I didn't lose my ring, so we've got to go slow through here now. I need this ice block, desperately. And I got the running shoes! Oh, there we go. So my movement is now slightly slower than Super, because running shoes overrides Super and it's slower. It makes the boss kind of annoying as well, so that's going to be fun.
Did you still want to see if, do you think we still have time for a donation before the boss?
Right at the boss.
So this
Yeah,
boss
this
looks like it'd be kind of difficult if you didn't have super form enabled, because it seems like it's kind of difficult to avoid all of this nastiness.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. That boss is like annoying as Super. It's really, really annoying without Super, because the boss freezes you, and then you've got like the Starmie things in the corner as well that shoot spikes at you everywhere, and it's just not nice. So this is Stardust Speedway. This level has a run full of, a corridor full of like spikes and enemies, and it's really horrible. But I need my rings in this level, so it's going to be a bit stressful. It's the first level from Sonic CD as well, which is kind of cool because in that game you have obviously the time travel mechanics. And while they didn't, oh okay, I need to go fast. So while they didn't add that mechanic, they utilized the past and future mechanic for the level designs. So in stage 1 here, you're going to see the past design, and then in stage 2, you're going to. Oh, I need to be on this platform. Please. In stage 2, you're going to see the future design. So it's quite a cool way of like utilizing that mechanic without having to completely rework the game for this one level. Also, I'm past the horrible corridor. I took it very slow, but definitely worth it to not lose all my rings. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of interesting things about this level, but honestly, the only thing I can say is that I hate it. It kills a lot of runs.
So do you think now's a good time for a donation?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. We have $20 from Heidi Dighty. Good
Oh,
luck,
Heidi, hello.
aka Socks. Don't forget to go
Oh
fast.
my god. I won't forget to go fast. Thank you, Heidi.
So one thing that Ailis has not yet mentioned is that I'm not sure if this is the case in all of the Sonic games, but in this game, all of the Act 1 bosses have 6 health, so it takes 6 hits to make them blow up, and then all of the second act bosses have 8 health.
Yes, and except the last one, which has 16, just to be extra.
Yeah, the not true final boss.
Oh yeah, because
Because we are
boss,
doing
yeah.
and Knuckles mode.
Yeah, we're gonna do something real interesting with And Knuckles. It's gonna be great. So this, like I said, is the future design for this level from Sonic CD, and it's also home to one of the coolest tricks that proves why Knuckles is the strongest. Because while Knuckles can be soft-locked, while other characters can be soft-locked by this trick, Knuckles has a way out of the soft-lock. So Knuckles can literally glide and punch his way out of that situation, which is, I think it's quite telling about, which is the best Sonic character.
So this is the boss.
Knuckles.
This is the boss that has 3 phases coming up. Oh.
Yep, Metal Sonic. So the first phase is just going to be a running section similar to the chase scene in... Oh, there he is. Okay. Similar to the chase scene in Sonic CD. Then you're going to get Silver Sonic, which hopefully we're going to skip. And then you're going to get kind of like Super Metal Sonic, which is going to be like ever so slightly scary. Hopefully not scary, but ever so slightly potentially killing me. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to go into this wall, and then we didn't need to do the backup, so that's good. That's the trick first try, which is the ideal situation. Every character can do that, but you can get soft locked out in the wall to the right. So in this stage, or in this boss, there's a bottomless pit to the left-hand side of the boss that kills you. And as it turns out, that's one of the only things that can kill Super Knuckles is a pit, along with being crushed or drowning. Also, echidnas are really good at making friends, as it turns out. Because this guy always shows up. He's my favorite. And that's like the halfway run, point of the run so far. So other than like a few movement errors at the start, I think I'm pretty happy with how this is going, to be honest.
Yeah, so that I believe you said that that gem is called the Phantom Ruby, and it has the ability to manipulate time.
Oh yeah, there's lore in this game, right? I forgot. I skipped all the cutscenes. But yeah, the lore is basically there's the Phantom Ruby that Eggman is using to kind of transport you back through time into certain sections. So that's why you've got a load of classic levels in the game, is because you're literally being moved into time. And then there's more with the Phantom Ruby is going to come into play towards the end of the game. But for now, all you just have to know is that's kind of the lore explanation why this is happening. Also, Hydro City has such good music, and it is pronounced Hydro City. I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm a Hydro City person. Oh, also, if Old Clov's in the chat, please say wow, because I know it's your favorite noise. Which is the
Wow.
shield noise. Wow.
Wow. Oh, well, we lost our shield, but that's okay. We didn't.
Oh, and I've lost my rings. This might be bad, so I might not be able to show off the good trick, but we're going to try our best. I might be able to get enough rings. We'll have to see. That section is very unfortunate. Do I just reset to show off the trick? Because the trick's really cool. Just this level, but no, I won't. I won't. We'll keep going fast.
Oh,
Can I
no.
get enough rings in this section is the real question. I might be able to get enough, actually. It's definitely worth trying to get these rings, because the final boss for this section is real slow. So there's one ring up there that I can go get. Okay, not high enough, but it's fine. I don't think we're going to have quite enough. There's a life here, not rings though, sadly. There's 3. 3. It's not quite enough. That's very unfortunate. But usually you can put Knuckles into the ceiling here. I really would have liked to show that off, but sadly that's a downside of running this category, is that you need certain ring counts to get super form in certain places. So what ends up happening is you like are very kind of limited by also Rip and Knuckles. He couldn't get to the oxygen in time. You're very limited by like if you get hit, you lose your rings, and then that's that gone. There's 3 there. Oh no, we have enough. Yes, right. So
We have just enough.
ceilings are optional.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay, I'm so happy I forgot those rings existed. So what happened there was when you turn super, you become intangible, and terrain can move through you. When you regain control, you like if there's a wall like on top of you like that, then you're just inside the wall. And when you're inside the wall, you can spam jump to ascend upwards. So I'm happy that's in the run because that's honestly like a really cool trick to see.
And I believe the boss is kind of a butthole.
Yeah, the boss is kind of like a kind of reverse role of the Act 2 boss in Hydro City from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where like instead of the boss being up in the little egg cart thing and like trying to suck you up with the whirlpool. Sorry, I've got to concentrate for just a moment.
It's my
I'm trying to like
favorite
suck
ball.
you up. Yeah, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm afraid there is very little chance of seeing it in a run like this, as we've just seen. But
A shame.
whoop,
I understand.
it's all in the name of going fast. So.
Liz's favorite boss has been sacrificed to the gods of Sonic Spinball and going fast.
And Knuckles.
And
Knuckles.
Knuckles.
Don't forget and Knuckles.
And Knuckles.
Here we go. So yeah, Hydro City 2, amazing music, and we don't get super till quite late in the level, so
There's no
technically a skip coming up here.
50s.
So
I said there's no easy 50s in this so far.
no, you just have to pick them all up. So that was technically a skip. The game wants you to go on like this whole figure of 8 path around the level, but you can skip it by just going up there, hitting the path switcher, and going the other way. It's actually exactly the same way that you skip that section in the old game, which is kind of a cool like flashback. Like it's a skip that functions exactly the same in both games. Also, the floor is kind of optional sometimes, like that. If you're just going fast enough and jump into that, it just can't keep up. Now we're going to get to the next RNG boss of the game, so that's going to be real fun.
Looks like you may have clipped out just a second. The feed may have clipped. Oh, there it
There
looks
it
like it's
goes.
coming back.
Are we back?
Yep,
Are we
looks
back?
like we're back. We are back.
Okay, good. So synchronized swimming, by the way, is a thing.
Yeah, so this is another boss that we can take advantage of Knuckles having full hurt box at all time in order to just be like, ha, Eggman, you have no chance. And I know it's Robotnik, it's not Eggman yet, but the only Sonic game I ever
I've been
played.
saying Eggman.
The only Sonic game I ever played was Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. So I'm a bad person, you know. I can already tell that I'm going to get some boos in the chat, but I'm just gonna admit the truth. I mean, that's just no running from it.
His name is
Jumped too early, but
Robotnik.
it's fine.
Thank you.
Fun
Well,
fact,
I
the
mean,
game can soft lock
Well,
here.
just note, I was really tempted to start. I was about to say Dr. Ananuts.
I would. So this section here, like if you hold a button out of the score screen, it like constantly does that input. So if you hold any direction other than right, you soft lock the game. So good thing I didn't do that. And this is Mirage Saloon. Mirage Saloon's got kind of a cool history because it's kind of like based on kind of leaked prototype stuff for a couple of levels from older games. Sonic CD and Sonic 2 specifically. Both of them were kind of, one was rumored to have a desert level, and one, I think the prototype does have a desert level.
And I believe this is another level. Like, unfortunately, we didn't get to see it in Chemical Plant 2. But I believe in either this level or Mirage 2, there's another and Knuckles exclusive skip that you can do.
Yes, there is, and that one I will definitely be getting because it is much, much easier to set up. It's actually a skip that Sonic and Tails can do as well. Anytime you have a second character, you can actually do that skip. So also the quick little like movement skip there, just like super gliding. Well, not super gliding, but like spin dashing and then gliding off of that like slope.
Ooh,
Just
first try.
about gets you up there.
Congratulations on the first try skip there. I know that in your practice you've had some issues with that.
Yeah,
that
it
skip.
hates me. It really hates me. Every time I try it, it takes me like 2 or 3 tries, so that's good. Also, the wall is also the floor, so that's good. And this boss is from like the like Master System Sonics, and I actually nearly got the good strat like down, so that was quite nice. That was actually a very good Mirage Saloon. I'm quite happy with that. Also, these signs,
think
I
we've
haven't
seen
mentioned
this.
it yet, but...
I think we've seen this boss earlier today.
Yeah, we have.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you?
Yes, we
Oh
had.
my god, there we go. Well, he tried to get revenge, but it didn't really work.
No match to the power
So-
of the 7 Chaos Emeralds.
Why am I down here? This is an interesting place for me to be. I'm not normally down here. Right. So, this guy is the worst, but I killed him, so that's good. He usually chases you down and tries to knock you off and stuff. Hopefully, I will get a really nice super glide here, which is just gonna like go over the whole level. I didn't get it like straight away, but this should be okay at this angle. I just need to go over this green star and I'll be fine. Yeah. So, gliding is just pretty cool, as it turns out. You get just enough rings to go super, and you miss like a ton of platforming in that level. And that's not even really a glitch. That's just like knowing where to glide. So that's always a nice one to get.
And you saw that her speed kept building up higher and higher because they didn't bother to cap Knuckles' glide speed. So
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
fly.
so here we go. Here's the skip. So we're gonna wait for Knuckles to come back.
You mean and Knuckles?
And Knuckles. And we're gonna get our Knuckles to go down here, and then we're gonna go like this, and then there we go. First try. Nice. So our Knuckles has just gone down into the boss room, run across to the right because the boss doesn't load, and hit the capsule for us. So yeah, there we go. And Knuckles saving some time. He's
Woo!
gonna lose it. He's already lost us a lot of time, but he saved some time, so that's quite cool.
You know that
Can we go up, please?
that boss is another one of my favorite bosses.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
He's
Okay.
skipping all my favorite bosses.
Because
Look,
it's more faster.
if you like bosses in this game, just don't play Knuckles. Okay. There's not an awful lot of them, as we're hopefully going to see in this stage. Well, not this stage, but
Oil 2.
Oil Ocean 2. Yeah. Oil Ocean 2 is a very tricky one though, but there's been a new strat recently found by Yuki. Shoutouts to Yuki for finding that because it's really helped the consistency on that strat. Okay, I
there's
don't
a
want to
new-
die here.
There's an out of
Don't get crushed. These things can crush you, and I die here a lot. Well, I say a lot, not anymore, but I've lost runs here. It's quite sad.
Gesundheit for Liz.
Whew.
I think you still have some tissues right there.
I do.
So the boss in this stage is kind of... If the boss gets to attack you, then what's going on? So hopefully we'll get an attackless boss. Okay, he might attack. Nah, he didn't. There we go. So yeah, he just doesn't quite get off the mark quick enough to start attacking you, and you can just kind of destroy him. So I'm going to stand in a very specific point here to make Knuckles jump over to the right. This is going to skip a trigger in the next stage, which activates the smog mechanic for this level. So the smog usually slowly builds up unless you hit these levers, similar to the ghosts in Sandopolis 2. But by skipping that, it never activates, and I don't ever have the downside of the smog, which is it drains your rings at a rate of 1 per second.
So here's
The
a
stage is going to look like this, I'm afraid, but it's definitely worth doing because I need super in this stage quite badly.
So here's another question, and it's apparently something I've never asked. If you go super while the smog is active, do you actually lose 2 rings per second, or is it still just 1?
It is just 1 per second still. So that's a very good question actually. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, if both are active, it's just 1 per second. I'm going to take this check. What are you doing, Knuckles? Right, I'm going to take that checkpoint just in case because this can be a very like finicky trick sometimes, and I just want to be like marathon safe. So we're going to try and clip into the wall, and I did not get it, so that's fine. We're just going to take the level normally now and fight the boss. What I was trying to do there was turn super whilst my hitbox was slightly in the wall, thus clipping me inside of it, and confusing the game into thinking that I'm in the background. And then I could just run, or like glide across half the stage and hit the capsule. But it's very tricky to get, and I'd rather not like try to get it like repeatedly. I'd rather kind of just go straight to the boss on this one, because this level is like horrible, honestly.
I mean, at least we have the power of and Knuckles.
Yeah, although I'm hoping he doesn't screw up the boss for me and kill me somehow, which he totally could do if he activates the boss's like invincibility frames and I fall through him and then glide by accident and then fall into the oil. Not that that's happened before.
I feel like something so specific could never have happened before.
No, absolutely
You're
not,
definitely
no.
not bringing this up because it's happened before.
Yeah, absolutely no way I still lose sleep over it to this day. No way that that's happened. Also, I've drowned after killing the boss in this stage as well. It's not my finest stage. But one advantage of doing the level this way is that you get to skip the cutscene in Lava Reef 1. So that speeds up the start of Lava Reef 1 a little bit. Not nearly as much as skipping the boss would have saved, but it's just a nice little bonus. So Lava Reef 1 is my favorite music in this game. And we're going to hear it for about 30 seconds until we get Super Form. Which is unfortunate, but, you know, at least we have 2 echidnas. Ooh,
And,
don't come down there.
we
I need
know
all these
that-
rings.
We know that two echidnas is a strict improvement over 1.
Oh, it absolutely is, except when it isn't. But here's a fun fact about our Knuckles mode. It's technically slower. In a New Game Plus run, you lose about 20 seconds if you have like everything optimal with both runs. And you might think, but if Knuckles gives you extra skips, how does that happen? And you'll see that when we get to the end of the run, as to why it's more time consuming. But I think it's worth doing. I think it's like, even if it loses time, it's a really cool addition to the run. Like being able to run with the extra strats and the extra stuff at the end. So this level is like almost entirely platforming, so we can do donations in a minute if you want.
Speaking of donations, before while Liz is looking those up, I gotta say we've had frog facts in the donations so far, but I think we should get some echidna facts going. What do you
agree.
think?
I would like that. I would like that. I only know one echidna fact, which is that I think it's like they don't sweat or something. Someone mentioned it in my chat the other day, but yeah, if anyone's got any echidna facts they want to donate in with, like, bring it on. I'm all up for
I would
echidna
love
education.
to read some echidna facts.
Oh my god, please do.
I mean, we got learning with Liz tomorrow, so let's start
Yeah.
with the learning with
Learning
Liz.
with Liz,
Early-
echidna facts.
Do you still want a few donations?
Go for it, yeah.
Alright.
This stage is just platforming, so.
Alrighty. We have $4 from Jason. Good luck. Your speed.
Hey, thank you, Jay.
$10 from Zedrew. Who is that cool guy following Knuckles?
Oh my god. That's a good one. I like that. Shoutouts to my uni buddies, by the way, who apparently are all donating right now. Love you guys. So this boss is a joke. Yeah, like, super mode breaks a lot of bosses, as you can see here. I don't really need to jump if I don't want to. It just speeds it up slightly. Basically, this boss is like, it's kind of like a stage enemy that you can't kill. It just kind of shows up and annoys you. In Lava Reef 1 in Sonic and Knuckles. But they kind of upgraded him to a boss in this game, and I just hope he wasn't too disappointed. Because he didn't get to do an awful lot. Lava Reef 2 is going to be back to doing some skips. There's also a really cool glitch. Oh, this is bad. I'm now on a different cycle, so that's fine. I went very slow through there because if I kind of YOLO it through there like I usually do, then I have a very high chance of getting crushed under one of those boxes, which I do not want to happen. But we're going to see another super mode clip, like a super transformation clip, which saves a lot of time, like over a minute. It's definitely worth like taking the time to do this properly. So if I do it here, this box kind of just pushes you into the wall, and you skip that ceiling there, and that saves like so much time, it's unreal. Like, it looks like it's such a small section, but it saves an absolute ton. So that's a very important one to get. Not too hard, but
She took advantage of the fact that the Knuckles was intangible while transforming, but once the transformation was in progress, the barrel was already overlaid on top of Knuckles, which was going to allow, which is going to cause the hitbox of the barrel to take priority over the hitbox of Super Knuckles, at least the tangibility, because no hurt box, but going to push you through the wall and into out of bounds, kind of like how that happens in well, a fair number of other games where you can kind of take advantage of conflicting hitboxes and the fact that the wall is usually a pretty low priority hitbox.
so we just did 2 tricks there. I completely forgot they were coming up.
Yep.
I did a ceiling clip. Very easy to do there because the geometry of that ceiling is just weird. So you can just kind of be in the ceiling. And then immediately after that, it was the section where by doing a 6-tap spin dash, you can skip into Sonic's section. Usually, the exit that I took from the level is just for Sonic because Knuckles doesn't have the jump height to get up there and you can't grab the wall. But by... Oh, and Knuckles just getting a hit there. He just felt like it. Okay. He's going for it. He really doesn't like Heavy King. But by doing the 6 tap I did there, I could exit the level that way. And because both characters exit the level the same way, just via a stage transition, it still takes you to Knuckles' boss, even though it's Sonic exit. So it's really convenient. And not once you get practice it, it's not too bad to get either. So that's quite nice. We're gonna have the most hype level of the game coming up now. By the way, this is Metallic Madness 1 Sonic CD, and it has the hardest skip in the game, in my opinion, and the even harder backup.
So if I recall from your notes correctly, the game is a little bit more forgiving than classic Genesis Sonic in that you actually have 3 frames instead of just 1 in order, once you've charged your spin dash, in order to preserve momentum before you start losing speed.
Yes, that's true. So in the old games, you need 6 frame perfect inputs in a row, followed by a 7th frame release of a spin dash to get the maximum speed. In this game, speed doesn't start decaying till 3 frames. So it's like a lot more forgiving. It's definitely, if you want to get into speedrunning a 2D Sonic game, I would say it's one of the more beginner-friendly games. And I definitely recommend it. And also, shout-outs to the community. Oh, that's a bad jump, but it's fine. Shout-outs to the community. They're so helpful and so friendly. And if you ever want to speedrun a Sonic game, you're definitely in good hands on the Discord. I'm just trying to get up here. Normally you do a super glide to get up here, but I kind of hit the box at the wrong angle. But you can still just jump up, because the echidnas are awesome. We're getting very close to the skip, so I am just going to concentrate for a second and then try and frantically explain what just happened.
Hopefully she will get the first skip, because the backup is considerably more tricky.
I completely choked there because I was slow going through there. We're going to try the backup now. I'm going to try it a few times, but hopefully I'll get it.
Yeah, just kind of at the mercy of RNGesus. And you may see that there are rings in the background. That's kind of one of the gimmicks of this particular stage, is that you're supposed to be able to go in and out of the background. If you look carefully, you can maybe see some of those rings back there, but I imagine after 1 or 2 more tries, Ailis will probably...
Yeah, we're going to give that one up.
Go ahead and unfortunately, we're going to have to take an F on the skip.
Yeah, it's a very tricky skip, and I was slow getting there, so it may have looked like I could have still gone for it with the super glide from the box, but the problem with that enemy is that he's constantly pushing the box. If I don't get to the box in time, it's in the wrong spot, and you can't do the trick unless it's in an exact spot. So I tried to do the backup, but the backup's just very tricky, and I told myself I was only going to try it 10 times or so before moving on. So now we're in Sonic 1's end boss, which is slightly different because it's got 5 of these crushes, but it's also slightly terrifying because it has crushes in the first place, which is one of Knuckles' only weaknesses, super form. And it's very time consuming. So the skip would have skipped all this and potentially soft locked the game, and it would have looked very impressive. But if you do want to see it, then there's plenty of videos out there that can demonstrate how it goes. So yeah, this is probably like good donation time because it's just counting to 4.
Liz, do you have any?
I do indeed. We in fact have some echidna facts.
Oh yes, let's go.
$5 from Choco. Echidna fact. Echidnas are the coldest mammal, having an average body temperature of 89 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's a good echidna fact. I like it.
Can I get one more quick one?
Go for it. This level's just platforming for the most part.
All right. $5 from Fulcrum TK. The echidna, like the platypus, is a monotreme, an egg-laying mammal. Knuckles canonically hatched from an egg.
Oh my god. Oh, also Chibi Knuckles. This is a thing. This level turns your character small and cute and adorable. And normally it breaks the cheat that turns off super music, but we don't even have that right now. And that's all I have to say.
All right. I have $10 from Takara that says echidna facts. The back legs of an echidna are rotated 180 degrees, which means their feet point backwards.
Wait, really?
These are extremely interesting, actually.
Wait,
I'm
wait.
so
So I
happy.
should be doing this run backwards then.
Yes.
Well, challenge run accepted. Left press only %.
Oh my.
Okay. There's a cycle here that I actually think I nearly got. Like that level wasn't very great, like from my perspective, but like I nearly got it. The boss for this level's kind of it's a pinball machine of bosses. So like I would try and tell you which ones I prefer to see because it's RNG what they are. but they all suck for different reasons. So the next few seconds is going to be me wailing on multiple Robotniks and these Amy dolls for some reason.
Is it purely random what spawns?
Yeah, it's random every time what you get. There's 3 different things it could be. There's the flying one, the ground one, or the Amy bot. Oh wait, not yet. And then the last hit is just tediously slow. But Ann Knuckles got it for us. Thank you, Ann Knuckles. That's a little trick you can do there. It doesn't look like I did a trick, but normally that little barrier that makes you big again, it pushes you backwards. But if you glide and turn around in midair, then you go forwards. So I guess it makes sense that echidnas are faster backwards, because I just went backwards. Titanic Monarch 1 is the final stage of the game, and it is horrible. There's a lot of things that want to hit me and take my rings away in this stage. There's a new kind of route that's been done in this level that I won't be doing today just because I'm going to wait for this. Just because I'm not as consistent with it as I'd like to be for a marathon. To put it into perspective, I thought I was consistent with the major skips in this run already, and I haven't hit any of them in this run, so I definitely wouldn't want to go for anything experimental. This is like a nice little one, is you can just clip into this ceiling. So that's always good to get. And then the lightning shield can let you get carried by lightning here. You go right the way up the top, 10 super, and then we're going to hit Spike Corridor, which is just... does the name give away what might be in Spike Corridor? I hope
I'm
it does.
guessing spikes, potentially ones that could potentially maybe crush you.
Yes.
Which would be no bueno.
Ooh, speaking of crushing, that was close to crushing my dream. So these spikes are just horrible for all the worst reasons. If you don't have super, they'll obviously hit you and make you lose your ring and lose your chance of getting super. If you do have super, the gap between them and the floor is big enough for you to roll in, but not big enough for you to stand in. So if you roll into the gap and then stand up, you just get crushed instantly. So we're taking the the old route, like the standard route. Just because it's more consistent. I know what I'm doing with this one. And then we're going to have another RNG boss, just in case you missed those.
I mean, I didn't miss any of it. I'm not a big fan of RNG bosses. I'm going to have to deal with one of those, a couple of those tomorrow myself, so I'm not looking forward
to it. Oh, yeah. Check out Ria's runs. They are awesome. Which one is it tomorrow?
Legaia 2.
I know you've done Earthbound already. Legaia 2. Nice. I'm off work tomorrow, so I will hopefully be able to tune in.
I think it's... Yep, this is the RNG boss. This would this would be a pretty easy boss, except Knuckles can't jump very well.
Yeah, so that we're on an elevator. It's going to go up and down.
Super Knuckles can't jump.
Oh, and we got good RNG. Nice. So when you're going up, the G-forces of the elevator push you downwards, and the opposite when it's going down. So Knuckles can't jump high enough to hit the boss when it's going up. And the worst I've had is 9 up cycles in a row, so that can potentially happen. The next level is, like...
Let me guess, Titanic
one of my
Monarch
favorites. Yeah, Titanic Monarch 2 has a skip in it that... It's one of my favorite skips again, because it's a skip that's like borderline impossible for other characters, and then it's just free for Knuckles. So again, cementing why echidnas are amazing. Speaking of which, we can probably go for some echidna facts.
No more echidna facts yet. If y'all have any really interesting ones, please do send those in, because they're fascinating.
I would love to hear some, please. My thirst for echidna facts has not been met yet.
But we do have $15 from Crashly. Hope you get time.
Nice.
Amazing to see you on GDQ.
Oh, thank you.
And I also want to remind everyone that we are raising money for the Malala Fund. Our current incentives that we're looking towards are Undertale Hug the Goat, which will be at the end of the end of this current block, which is actually the I have it written down, the Game of the Month block. We, as a community, learned a bunch of games each month, and these next few games, this one included, are games that we all learned as a community.
There's the skip, by the way. We just kind of go into that wall. It's completely free. It lets you go above the stage, and then you can hit this unused capsule that normally isn't part of the level to finish it and move on to the final boss. Other characters have to hit a very specific jump, and Knuckles just does it.
Yep, and that's why we have to save Super Knuckles because we need the super transformation to fly up to the capsule. And now I think it's time for the final boss and then the true final boss.
Yeah, the true final boss. Harnessing the power of 2 echidnas to break space and time.
So it
So
takes
this boss is like annoying. Yeah, you can explain it. I need to concentrate.
So this boss is gonna take place in two parts. You got the part one where you're kind of your two knuckles. You got Robotnik with the shield. Once it goes down, she's gonna try to get 5 hits if possible. So 1, oh, that's not ideal. 4, okay, she at least got 4 hits. So that's going to knock down one of the 4 things and dodge missiles, get another hopefully 4 or 5 hits. 4, okay, 5, okay, she got 5 hits there. Now it's going to send her to a fight with a boss. She doesn't have to fight the boss, but she might pick up a few rings there. Just got to deal with this guy, and eventually it'll send us back to Robotnik. Just do some more jumping around. So kind of go back to the original. We'll try to get another 4 or 5 hits. 3, 4. All right, she is 3 or 4
There we
hits.
go.
Away. So it looks like
So those like previous boss cycles, the next one is real slow. So I had to get all those hits to avoid doing that. And now we're in the egg reverie.
each of the 4 tentacles takes 4 hits, so it's 16 hits total for the final boss. And now it's time for a true final boss against the. And you'll see that time is completely at a loss. So if you look at the corner, the time it's gonna do whatever the heck it feels like.
Yeah, the lore behind this is where Sonic goes when Sonic has gotten all the emeralds in a run. So Sonic would come to this stage after the final boss with all emeralds. It's kind of like a bonus that if you're regular Knuckles, you don't get this. So the any % run for this category doesn't have oh, hold on, I need to concentrate. There we go. It doesn't have like this stage in it, but because I have and Knuckles. Oh, and I've just messed that up. Because I have and Knuckles, oh come on. Heavy Gunner is horrible if you don't get him like quickly.
Yeah.
If you have and Knuckles, you get to this stage, so it's like a bonus kind of level for running Knuckles and Knuckles.
Yep. The punchy bot is generally, from what I've seen, it's fairly easy to get, but the other guy is a real pain in the posterior regions if you don't manage to sneak through the shields right away.
Yeah, so I'm basically just going for like a certain like spin dash timing. I normally look towards the left because I have a hard time turning to the left. There we go. So I want to get as many hits like that as possible, basically. This guy, you just hold left. Like Robotnik, you just like walk into him and he gets hit. Nothing special there, but this is quite a... See, I just missed it there even though I got through the barriers. That's how annoying it is.
And let's,
you can only take damage here by getting hit by the Heavy King as well. Technically, Robotnik can hurt you, but it requires you to mess up holding a directional button, which I like to think I don't do. But, you know, I did miss a lot of skips.
all right, so we are
get this super awesome
we are getting very
attack.
close to time. It'll be within the next minute or so.
Yeah, so I need to get 8 hits on both bosses. So time is when I hit Robotnik next. And that's time.
GG.
Looks like our
Awesome.
feed is looks like our stream preview feed is a little delayed there, but yep, there we go. And then now we're going
Okay.
there we go.
Yeah, we have the
We're gonna get the joke ending.
secret ending, the true ending.
The true ending that's kind of a joke. And do you mind if I tell them what the true ending is?
Go for it.
It was all just a story that Knuckles was telling to the animals. It didn't actually ever happen.
Excuse you. This is a true story. Thank you.
It is. It's based on the true events. Sonic Mania and Knuckles is a true story. Okay, that Sonic and Tails definitely don't suspect is completely fake in the background. So yeah, that's been Sonic Mania. Could I check what my time was?
Your time was 55:56.
Hey, that's not too bad for a marathon.
Not bad at all.
So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. It's been super fun to run this. It's been super awesome that so much money was raised for the Am Knuckles % as well. There's an in-game time. It's pointless. It doesn't count Poyo or a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's honestly been amazing. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ailis, for that incredible Sonic Mania run. Sonic Mania and Knuckles. Nothing like some good Knuckles to carry through our day. Welcome to the beginning of the community group block. Basically, this is the game of the month block where in the Frame Fatales community, we all got together to decide, hey, we're going to learn a new game this month. And our current game, our first game was Pokemon Snap, and then we decided let's learn a few more like every month. So that's all the games from here until Pokemon Snap are going to be games that we learned as a community. Starting with Sonic Mania, and next up is Untitled Goose Game by Amethyst. Let me read a few donations. We have $5 from Heidi Didy. Chibi and Knuckles is so precious, must protect. And $10 from Takara. More echidna facts. The animal was named after Echidna, a half-woman, half-snake creature from Greek mythology, who I believe was the mother of all monsters. Thank you for the very fun echidna facts. And with that, friends, that has been the Sonic Block, and that has been me. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Thank you all so much. I will be back later on. You'll see me, and don't go anywhere, because like I said, next up is the Goose Game. We'll throw it to honk. We'll throw it to a ad break, and we'll be right back.
I first came to the United States, I spoke zero English. I started with ABC and number 1, 2, 3. I had to start from zero.
We talk about girls' issues. We talk about what needs to be done for girls in their education and their empowerment.
Hi everyone.
أنا اسمي هدير.
Hi friend, मेरा नाम आकांक्षा है.
This is a video series in which girls from countries around the world are sharing their stories and telling what matters to them. This is Roll Call.
I grew up in a small village in northern Iraq called Sureshka. Since I was one of the minority religions in Iraq known as Yazidis, I was the main target for ISIS. At a very young age, I witnessed Yazidi genocide right in front of me. We were heartbroken because of what happened. Today, I'm grateful that I got to a point where I am safe with my family right now, and I got to a place where I'm receiving my education just like any other boy.
معاكنا نبراسكا كيف مش نبراسكا بيزدي قالك اللي راهي نو حياة شو مدارس أو عنده قالك أباشا معاكنا هنا راستا بلدك قالك التوزيع صار معايا بس با يعني بعائلة قالك سيفتي يا معاتين قالك يزدي اللي راكم.
By the time I arrived in America, it was around graduation time. My cousin took me to one of my friends' graduation. The girl gave a speech and I sat there and I said, one day I will speak there. My own cousin, he was like, yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. I'm a freshman, but I live off campus. This is my apartment. Coming here, I wanted to be more involved. I wanted to do everything. I didn't want anything, my gender, nothing stopping me from what I wanted to do. Like I remember going to one of the after-school programs and I asked my teacher if this is only for boys, and she laughed at me. She said there's nothing here in America only for boys. For me, it was not that easy transition. I remember going to school for the first few days and just sitting down and listening to teachers talking and you're not able to understand.
حياتك صعب وبداية ما إنجليزي نزاني ما نزاني بس يجي خبرش دابا أنا كانين بس كانين ما نزاني شو بيش ده.
My dad, he said that it's just not for you to learn the language, it's for your family as well. And that immediately increased my motivation, saying, oh, I will do this for my family. And that's where I got the motivation to learn 10 vocabularies every single day. And for a year and a half, I just focused on getting that language, on knowing the language. So when I first came to America, I remember the first day, the first person that I saw and I met and we became best friends for life was Masa. Hi. During the weekends, she comes down to my college and I come down to her college. And despite education, we just try to have the best time together. She plays guitar and she plays it for me every time. She's trying to learn some Kurdish, right?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Right now, our families are like best friends and they hang out all the time together.
Well, that's it.
It's the first day of spring, basically, and we call it Nowruz. It's one of those holidays it's not a religion holiday. This is really special because it's the only holiday where everybody comes together and celebrates it. You're away from the country, but you're so proud of your heritage. And just to say it, Happy Nowruz to everyone. To me, freedom is just having rights just like anybody else. To go to school, you don't need freedom for that. It's my right. Me and Masa would always say that if Americans have to study 1 hour, we have to do 2 hours. Like we have to do double, triple as them to get to the same place because we both wanted like not statue of being refugee, like not knowing the language, stop us from continuing our education, continuing and achieving our dreams. It's women like Malala and Amal Clooney and Nadia Murad who inspire me every single day to work hard enough and to improve my skills in many different ways, just to one day I can give that back to my community and I can give back to all these girls who have been facing so many things throughout their life. And it's my dream that one day, no girl should face what I had to face.
I hope that these stories would have inspired you and that you would share it with your friends as well. And please do not forget to subscribe to our channel.
All right, everyone. Hi. It's Frozen Flygon back to host and commentate for Untitled Goose Game coming up. I see all your honks in the chat. Let's get a quick donation in and then let's see the goose. So we have one last echidna fact from Claire213. We have a $50 donation from Claire that says, echidna fact, a baby echidna is called a puggle. Thank you for that wonderful fact. And I think it's time for the goose.